There is a hidden world behind the one we touch, taste, and see, a vast territory of truth that slips past our everyday perception. For centuries, philosophers, mystics, and sages have tried to pull back the veil to understand the deeper nature of existence. Today, we embark on a contemplative journey into that invisible world. These are not physical discoveries, but philosophical revelations, truths that quietly shape your life, even if you've never seen them directly. Here are 12 invisible truths about reality that only the most reflective minds tend to notice. Everything you see, hear, or feel isn't reality as it is. It's reality as filtered through your senses, biases, and consciousness. The philosopher Immanuel Kant argued that we can never know the thing itself, only the representation our minds create. This means we don't live in an objective world, but in a constructed one. Our minds act like lenses, constantly shaping and bending experience to fit our expectations and memories. Most people assume what they perceive is reality, but the deeper truth is, you live inside a subjective bubble. Time doesn't repeat, and neither do you. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus once said, "You cannot step into the same river twice. The river changes, but so do you. Each breath you take brings you into a new version of the present, one that will never exist again." This means life is not just fleeting, it's continuously transforming. Every moment, no matter how small, is a singular, unrepeatable event. To live philosophically is to feel the weight of this truth, and to cherish existence as a series of irreplaceable instants. Most people believe they are a fixed self, but when examined closely, this idea begins to unravel. Buddhist thought and modern neuroscience both suggest that what we call I is a narrative, a flowing process of thought, memory, and emotion. You are not the same person you were a year ago or even yesterday. Your personality, beliefs, and desires are all in flux. The self is more like a story being written in real time, not a solid object. Letting go of the illusion of a permanent self can be liberating, and also terrifying. The way you see the world says more about your inner condition than about the world itself. If you carry fear, you'll find reasons to be afraid. If you carry peace, the world softens. This is a principle found in Stoic philosophy and echoed in Eastern traditions. Your state of mind projects itself onto reality. Events are neutral. Your interpretation gives them color. Understanding this invisible truth transforms your power. You stop being a victim of events and start becoming an author of perception. Soren Kierkegaard once said that most people are so absorbed in trivial matters that they never realize they've never truly lived. It's easy to move through life reacting, not reflecting, following routines, habits, and societal norms without conscious awareness. This is what Heidegger called inauthentic being. Philosophers awaken by questioning the default mode of life. Why am I doing this? Who told me this matters? To live awake is to pause often, reflect deeply, and step deliberately into your own path. Philosophy teaches us that the truth isn't always found in neat, logical boxes. In fact, the deepest truths often live in paradox. Take freedom. To be truly free, you must limit yourself through discipline or love. The more you give it away, the more you have. Contradictions aren't flaws, they're clues. The Tao Te Ching describes this with poetic clarity. The way that can be named is not the eternal way. True understanding lies not in choosing between opposites, but in holding both sides of the paradox in your awareness. We often think the future is something that just happens, but your beliefs, thoughts, and habits shape what comes next long before it arrives. In existentialist philosophy, especially in the works of Sartre, we learn that you are condemned to be free. You're always projecting yourself into the future through the choices you make. that inner voice you listen to today. It's the architect of your tomorrow. The invisible truth is this: you're not waiting for the future. You're building it in silence. Language is both our greatest tool and a silent cage. It allows us to build civilizations and share ideas, but it also limits what we can experience. Words label reality, and by labeling, they restrict. Think of how a child experiences the world before knowing the word tree. It's a raw, sensory miracle, but after we name it, it becomes ordinary. This is why mystics often speak in metaphor or silence. Language frames our understanding, but can never fully capture the infinite. Western philosophy often frames reality as made up of things or objects with properties, but indigenous traditions, systems thinking, and modern science suggest a different view. Everything is relationship. Atoms interact, ecosystems balance, emotions ripple. You are not a fixed entity, but a point in a vast network of connections. This realization dissolves the ego and brings a sense of humility. The self doesn't stand above the world, it exists through the world. To many, death feels like a distant fear, but philosophers argue it's something deeper. It's what gives meaning to everything else. Heidegger believed that awareness of death is what makes authentic living possible. Without an end, life becomes weightless, but with death, every moment takes on urgency. It is death that sharpens our decisions, compels love, and inspires creation. The invisible truth is this: death is not merely a ceasing, it's what makes life vivid. In a world addicted to noise, both literal and mental, silence has become rare and uncomfortable. But all true philosophy begins in stillness. Socrates asked questions not to fill space, but to open it. Zen monks sit in silence not as escape, but as inquiry. Silence allows reality to speak without interruption. In the quiet, we hear more clearly, not just external sounds, but our own intuition. Silence is not absence. It is the background from which clarity emerges. Perhaps the greatest invisible truth is this: meaning is not something we discover like a buried treasure, it's something we create. Life doesn't come with built-in purpose. Nietzsche, Camus, and others have shown that a meaningful life must be carved from the chaos. The question isn't what is the meaning of life, but what meaning am I willing to create in the face of life's uncertainty? It's in the act of loving, building, creating, and connecting that meaning is born. These truths are not secrets in the traditional sense. They are visible to anyone, but only those who slow down and reflect deeply tend to see them. They are the silent architecture behind reality, shaping our thoughts, choices, and destinies without demanding attention. To live philosophically is not to memorize names or theories. It is to walk through life with curiosity, to question the surface, and to look patiently into the invisible. Because once you start to notice these deeper layers, you can never return to seeing the world the same way again.